I'm honored to be presenting my ideas in brief, and let me link it. I'm in the risk business and started in financial risk and then moved to other things. And I noticed something quite central. You have payoffs that are sensitive to large deviation and not small deviations. So in other words, there's nonlinearity. Like the market's down 1%, you lose 1 million, 10%, the bank loses 10 billion. So you have a very steep nonlinearity and try to map it to fragility. And indeed, anything fragile is nonlinear. If I jump 10 meters, I'm harmed more than 10 times 1 meter, and so on. Practically anything around is more sensitive to large deviation than small deviation. And that's sort of like the whole work on fragility. Now, with this comes the notion of scale. Okay, it becomes central to it. The scale transformation. We have scale, in other words, to use the old adage, more is different. You have visibly an elephant is vastly more fragile than a mouse. They look the same. They're both mammals. An elephant is more efficient, visibly heartbeats, lives longer, lower heartbeat, all of that. But a little bit of a shock would break an elephant and not a mouse. So you have these transformation that are linked to size. So scaling becomes important also in social organization and a lot of things. And I recall uh, uh, creating a little bit of controversy when I said, when I cited someone saying that at the federal level he is libertarian, at the state level he is Republican, at the county level he is Democrat, and at the town level he is socialist. You see, and of course, at a family level, he's hyper-communist, but that's different. So you realize that you have a transformation. It's things you can have different political opinion where you want the organization to be, not against government, but against uh, in favor of some smaller governments. And then in my new work, I started. You're always accidental. You start talking about the scaling or a certain topic, then you realize that you have a lot of verbalism around that doesn't match its scientific definition and dimensions. Like, for example, uh, I was arguing that localism is important and that we should have municipalities running things. And people were arguing with me that New York City was traditionally poorly managed, although being a municipality, okay, and having the mayor having a lot of power. You don't realize, as I told the person, that New York City is bigger than Switzerland, and Switzerland has something like of the order of, I think, 1,200. There's some I don't know. I'm not off by order of magnitude, but off a little bit. 1,200 municipalities. So you realize, I think that 1,223 municipalities. Okay, so you realize that when we talk about municipal power, when we talk about polity, we don't know what we're talking about. It's so scale dependent. We should go by numbers, have index them to numbers. And of course, like people like me who argue in favor of reduced polities in size. I mean, you can have a lot of polities. Okay, so have a big one, have a lot of small ones, and then of course, it's in a fractal relationship with one another, would be excellent for risk management, for peace, for a lot of problem because people become less expansionist typically. If you look in history, city-states worked admirably. And then the other problem also with city-states is today we can't talk about city-states. New York City is, of course, 7, 8 million. You have some cities of 20 million. Athens was 20,000. The thriving Phoenician city-states were between 15 and 30,000 inhabitants. So we can't really talk about compare because the interactions between individuals, the whole thing changes just quantitatively when you change the scale. So this is my two-piece thing about scaling. It's important for risk, but it
30
also
seconds.
we can extend to other items.